At this moment, Brother June was surrounded by a swarm of giant rats. An old rat, smoking a pipe, stood out among them. It was a metal-eating rat ultra, the old rat said. Thou dare to come to mine temple and slay mine disciples? All of thee must be killed. Seeing this, Brother June was astonished. Eh? It actually knows how to speak with an accent? Does this mini-boss have its own consciousness? Metal-eating rat ultra pointed at June's group and shouted loudly. Must be killed, attack him! Brother June group attacked simultaneously. Brother June charged toward 4 of the rats, forming seals with both hands to unleash the skill, 9 Univance Seal, Lion's Seal. Mere martial emperors dare to stop a dual emperor like me? I can finally say the second master's catchphrase. Rat-like Junior, hand your life over. The old rat calmly sat there, lifted its pipe, took a long drag, and exhaled smoke toward Brother June, skill known as bone-dissolving wind. Brother June was blasted backward, his body slamming into a rock wall. Red blood spraying from his nose and mouth. System, you're quite vicious. There's actually a Marshal Saint level boss on easy mode. His breath alone was enough to easily damage my skin. I can't face him head on. He's been sitting on top of an elite rat this entire time. Maybe it has problems with its lower body. I guess the system still has a conscience. There is still a huge gap between saints and half-saints. Even with Woody and my half-saint strength combined, fighting a saint in their prime is still a stretch. How are the other disciples doing? This many elite metal-eating rats should be pushing them to their limits. Nearby, a rat opened its mouth, revealing 2 sharp rows of teeth as it lunged forward. Suiji used his muscular strength to block it. The dragon scale tattoo on his back glowing brightly. Suiji shouted, Dragon Elephant Hoist. Taking advantage of the rat lying on the ground, Su Xiaomao dashed forward and shouted. Suiji, I'll help you. Then, he kicked the unlucky rat in its triple X using the technique, critical strike on TG. Seeing this, Brother June thought to himself. Executing such blatantly vulgar moves with pride instead of shame, Xiaomao has learned a lot from me. 2 young men nearby also charged forward, attacking a rat in perfect coordination. 1 attacker above, 1 attacker below. The rat struggled to fight back but couldn't keep up with their speed. Seeing this, Brother June felt reassured. Li Shangtian and Sima Zhongda, despite being martial kings, can easily fight an elite rat if they work together. Although it might be hard for them to kill the enemy, they should be able to protect themselves. Just as he finished his thought, Brother June glanced over and saw Xiaomao being knocked away by a rat. Sensing the danger, Brother June rushed over. At that moment, Suiji moved at lightning speed, using his body to block the rat's attack. Suiji smirked and said, If you want to hurt my junior brother, you will have to go through me first. Immediately, Xiaomao used the skill, Horse-Killing Strike, thrusting straight into the rat's forehead. Seeing this, Brother June finally felt at ease, glanced toward the lead rat, and sighed. The disciples are not in danger. I can focus on fighting the ultra-metal-eating rat. Finishing his thought, Brother June gathered momentum and charged forward. Using the skill, Cloud Ascending Steps, he dashed around the lead rat like lightning, then shouted loudly. Spiritual power construct incarnation clones. He split into 3 copies of himself, each wielding a different weapon, as they rushed in together, shouting. 3 heroes' skill. Boom, dust and smoke filled the air. Brother June was startled as he heard the voice of the lead rat. You can actually execute such a move despite only being a half-saint. You are a prodigy. It's a shame, but it's difficult for mortal eyes to see this saint. Brother June looked back in worry, but it was too late. The old rat had already moved next to Suiji. At that moment, the system spoke up. You must eventually face some things. The old rat looked on in confusion. An oddity, oh oddity, you are merely a martial king. But not only is your spiritual power as rich as a martial emperor's, your physique is nearly as strong as a half-saint's. Are all of you this freakish? Behind, Brother June's group took turns unleashing attacks on the old rat. Seeing he Woody and Brother June rushing toward him, the old rat sneered. A half-saint? Finally, someone worth laying my eyes on, but a martial saint is not someone the likes of you can compare with. While saying, old rat took a puff from his cigarette and gracefully dodged the attacks from the two young men. The old rat radiated an overwhelming aura. Brother June sighed. I can't get a grasp on his movements at all. He woody anger. I actually got hit by such a weakling, how embarrassing. I've really fallen low. Meanwhile, Xingchen was helping Zuiji sit up to take some medicine. Quick, eat this healing pill. Our spatial rings don't work here, but I was smart enough to hide this one in my robes. The old rat, surprised, immediately charged forward to snatch the pill from Xingchen's hand and said, So this godly medicine is the reason why you're not worried despite suffering such deep wounds. Seeing this, Xingchen switched to combat mode and said, Rat Jr., you're playing a dangerous game. The old rat swiftly dodged the attack and replied, Haha, interesting, how interesting. There's actually another half-saint in the group, but young man, you're even weaker than the other two, although just by a little bit. Brother June and he woody rushed forward, shouting, Xingchen, let's fight him together. Xingchen yelled in fury. Hand that pill over back to me. The old rat thought to himself. 3 people at the same time, it's a little risky, I can only. With that thought, the old rat summoned a swarm of other rats from the ground to restrain Xingchen's legs. Then launched a powerful strike at him, blood-rending claw. Xingchen sighed. I can't block this. Xingchen was stunned. Brother June and he woody were equally astonished. Zuiji moved in front of Xingchen, blocking the attack. Zuiji smiled and said, No one is allowed to hurt the people of the Altaim sect in front of me, not even a martial saint. Elder Ape Rat Seal. The old rat was sent flying by a punch from Zuiji. Old rat utterly shocked. You can actually unleash such strength with your half-saint physique? Such a powerful strike, this old man will have to take you seriously now. Brother June and he woody, furious, charged forward to attack. Does my disciple, senior brother, need you to take him seriously? Boom. Smoke, dust, and debris scattered in all directions. Xingchen, worried for Zuiji, shouted, Zuiji, stay with me. The 2 young men silently looked at each other as Zuiji's figure began to fade. Suddenly it felt as though space itself was cracking, and Xingchen was consumed by intense fury. Meanwhile, the 2 young men continued their frenzied assault on the old rat. You've gone mad. Both of thee are only focused on attacking with no thought for defense. Have you lost your mind? Suddenly, a powerful aura descended, a cold voice echoed. Because you must die. A figure filled with murderous intent appeared and spoke. Sect Leader Woody, my current body cannot control this power yet. Stand back so I don't accidentally hurt you. This aura. You. Brat, how do you have such an aura? Xingchen, with piercing eyes and hair standing on end, said. That's the aura of a Marshal Sovereign. I merely reclaimed the power that belongs to me. But by the looks of it, this body can't hold on for too long. However, there's no need to worry, before this body collapses. This seat will make sure to bestow upon you a long and painful death. At that moment, a hand was raised, and the old rat instantly vanished. I was only able to bring out the power I had in my previous life after your death, but it's fine, this body of mine is about to break anyway. With the memories of the Altaim sect, my slumber this time might not be as lonely. Zuiji, I'll see you on the other side. System notification appeared. Congratulations on passing the life and death realm, easy mode. It's actually not the endless darkness. Lost in thought, he was startled when Zuiji patted him on the shoulder and talking. Xingchen, you're out? Did you pass the trial? I guess I was the only one that got eliminated. At this moment, Brother June explained. So only our consciousness entered the game, which means if we die, we will simply get kicked out. We went pretty wild back there after we saw Zuiji die. Thinking back, it's a little awkward. By the way, Qin Yang, help me pass on a news saying to the Ironbone sect. Sacrifice Zuiji to the heavens and Xingchen's power will soar. Qin Yang responded. Okay, I'll make sure the whole sect memorizes it. Hearing this, Xingchen spoke up. Hey! Suddenly, a voice came from behind Xingchen. A Marshal Sovereign, huh? That must have been the greatest trump card that you've been hiding, right? It was he woody, and he continued speaking. Although it isn't much, I'll let you guard the title of the strongest all-time sect member for the next few months. But based on what happened in the secret realm, your Marshal Sovereign power should only be a one-time use skill. It'd be better for you to not use it then. Having to throw your life away is not worth it at all. You're just jealous. Ah hee hee. But now that you reminded me, if I want to make the most out of it, I do need more practice controlling the power, no matter what. As the strongest all-time sect member, I need to live up to the title. Brother June rested his chin in thought. Why is it that I, the main character, can count the number of days when I am the strongest in the sect? I have to rely on others most of the time. Xingqian asked. Sect leader, can I enter the secret realm again to practice my control? You can, as long as you pass, you can enter again. However, if you get eliminated like Suiji, you will have to wait for 3 months. Hearing that, Xingqian immediately said, Then I'll strike the iron while it's hot and go practice some more. But this time, choose the hardest mode for me. A martial saint is nothing in my eyes. The sect leader said that the monsters in the secret realm are all random. I don't know what I will meet this time. I'm still here? Is it a coincidence? Will I be fighting those rats again? That's fine too, I still haven't vented all my anger out onto them. It'll also help me test my power out. Oh? Are those rat bastards coming? If it's those Marshal King level ones again, there won't even be a show to watch. Finished speaking, he broke into a cold sweat in shock upon seeing something. A large hand was coming toward him. Boom, boom, he was hit squarely by the stone statue without missing a single strike. Knocked away, he could only silence. Oh, you passed the level already? No wonder, you're the quickest man of all time. It hasn't even been 20 seconds yet. I bet the first monster that appeared instantly killed him. Marshal Sovereign is only the first step, don't worry. I'll show you what the realms that come after Marshal Sovereign look like in the future. Humph, this lord will get to that realm before you. Before me? That's not possible. After all, I, the closed-door disciple, actually came down from that realm to experience mundane life. Also, I need to correct a misconception you have. It's not that realm. But those realms. These two kids sure know how to brag, talking about going above the Marshal Sovereign realm. Even I almost believed them. System spoke up. As long as you're happy. Let's get the reward for completing the life and death realm first. Speaking of, what exactly is the reward? You were acting so mysterious earlier. System replied. Of course it's a surprise. A surge of abundant spiritual power spread out. He Woody, sensing it, became curious. What's going on? I can feel the spiritual power in my body circulating extremely fast. Brother June reminded. Everyone, start cultivating, don't miss your chance to break through. System notified. Life and Death Realm Reward Epiphany. The system will integrate the spiritual power in their bodies with the spiritual power of heaven and earth, creating an opportunity to enter a state of epiphany. A breakthrough to the next stage is very likely. Brother June was cultivating while thought. This is definitely the greatest secret weapon to break through to the next great realm. System replied. All of your inner disciples are geniuses. As long as I am here, they will definitely soar, and even amongst this group of geniuses, you can be considered an exceptional existence. After all, we are the favored son of heaven. I reached the peak of the Marshal King realm. I am only one step away from the Marshal Emperor realm. Me too. I broke through to the middle of the Marshal Emperor realm. We all broke through. System said again. Host. From a certain perspective, you can be considered the most special one. It's just that your uniqueness is a little bit unexpected. To think that you're the only one who couldn't break through. Ah. At this moment, Brother June gathered all the disciples of the all-time sect to make an announcement. Have the disciples form groups of 50 and take turns entering the life and death realm. There must be 2 elders accompanying them at all times. Disciples who are close to breaking through will be given priority. After finishing the announcement, he crossed his arms and thought to himself. Although the life and death realm is on easy mode, the contents are adjusted based on the people who enter. If I arrange it this way, the final boss should be a peak emperor at most, resulting in a much higher passing rate. After finishing his thoughts, he turned to speak with Elder Wei. Elder Wei, I will be taking the top 25 of our disciples to the central province. I will have to trouble you and the rest of the elders to take care of the other kids. Elder Wei replied. Don't worry, I'll be sure to watch over them carefully. I will urge them to practice diligently and give you a huge surprise when you come back. By the way, Elder Wei, do you have an old fire in the central province? I'm about to leave, so I need to make some preparations in advance. Well, there is, but with your status, I don't think you will be able to meet. Brother Jun thought. He really does have someone. Then I am relieved. The disciples are still waiting for me to set off. I'll head out first. Brother Jun chased after the disciples, shouting loudly. You brats, didn't I tell you to wait for me? He woody, bring that back here. Although Elder Ice is here, you can't take the sect's gate away. Old Wei approached and spoke to Old Ice. The sect leader has set out. I'm sure they will cause great waves in the central province. Old Ice, the all-time sect will have to rely on you for safety now. Hearing that, Old Ice responded. Heaven-breaking gang, Wei Qing Feng. Back then, your group turned the entire central province upside down. Although I was still in my slumber, I still heard your name through my descendants. I was amazed by your deeds back then. You were even hailed as the last generation's main character. Why are you only in the Marshal Emperor realm now? Moreover, even that is unstable. If I remember correctly, back then, you had already reached the Marshal. Not letting Old Ice continue, Old Wei interrupted. That's all in the past, so let's not talk about it. I'm an old man now, so I'm happy with only raising some plants in my garden. Old Ice said again. I never thought a heaven's chosen one like you would lose their fire and end up being content with mediocrity. You've fallen so low that you're even unwilling to set foot in the central province. Lose my fire? Content with mediocrity? This old man had used the most straightforward method back then, to let those low lives in the central province know that I am back. Meanwhile, Brother Jun, riding a wolf, holding the big sister close, and shouted loudly. Everyone, listen up, the all-time sect has a new rule. In front of the princesses, madams, matriarchs, wives of city lords, and masters, female heroes, beauties, school belles, twins, triplets, etc. sisters, we are not allowed to mention Elder Wei. In fact, don't even say the word Wei. We don't want to end up in a conflict with them, you must remember. Su Xiaomo, the moment I talk about important things, you fall asleep. Look at how serious your elder brothers are. I'm not sleeping. Not sleeping. You dare to say you're not sleeping? When we entered the central province just now, I even heard you snoring. I bet even if someone threw a dragon at your head, you still would not wake up. As soon as he finished speaking, a fierce beast flew up behind Brother Jun. It crashed into a tree with a boom. Brother Jun, bewildered, said, Have I mastered the technique of jinxing things? In the distance, a figure appeared. A tall young man spoke up. Sorry, I was suddenly craving a midnight snack. I didn't expect to cause such a huge disturbance. I hope I didn't startle you guys. Catching a peak Marshal King Realm Earth Dragon for a midnight snack, good move. Zuiji, come back, it's fine, he has no bad intentions. The young man looked at Zuiji and said, I never expected to meet someone with a physique similar to mine. I can feel the strength of an ancient beast in your body. How exciting, I am not alone in my Tao. Would you be interested in a little spar? I'm too hungry, I'll go have a full meal. From the looks of it, you're here for the battle of tigers and dragons. I will wait for you on the stage then. Weirdo. But he is a very strong weirdo. The central province does not lack talents. And the deeper we go, the thicker the surrounding spiritual power gets. It is already 1% as thick as the spiritual power back in our sect. Why is it suddenly so windy? No. Someone is drawing their sword. I am a guest from the Jianghu. And I wield the heaven and earth like a sword. What powerful sword control, he can draw and sheath it as he wills, even I can't control the sword to such a degree. The Grand Central Province really doesn't raise nobodies.